accomplishes. One idea that mitzvahs accomplish is the hamshacha from above, that it's a gilui oir, and therefore the more bittul, the more hamshacha, the more gilui oir there is. Another thing that Torah mitzvahs accomplishes, that there is or mainly mitzvahs we're talking here about, and that because Torah is only a light of Seder Ishtalshlus. Mitzvah is a light that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlus. So that light that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlus is something that is this light that's higher than Seder Ishtalshlus is only shaykh by mitzvahs, not by Torah. But that needs bittul. Bittul is greater in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, and primarily and even more so in the times of Mashiach. There's another component of mitzvahs, and that is the component of transforming the darkness of the world, transforming the darkness of the Nefesh Bahamis and the Guf and the Chalkei Ba'olam. These things are applicable more during the time of Golus. During the time of Golus, it's a greater darkness, so therefore there's a greater transformation, a higher level of transformation. Then we spoke about that the mitzvahs have their gilui, has to do with what's going to be in Mashiach's times. We started saying on line 5 over here on the 7th page of the Maimer that even though there is the ultimate bittul is when Mashiach comes. So why do we even speak about the mitzvahs of even these days? What does it have to do with the revelation? We said the revelation is mainly where there's bittul. The real bittul is going to be when Mashiach comes. That's why then it's going to be mitzvahs seinacha. What's the idea of the mitzvahs now? What does it have to do with that level of mitzvahs, the idea of drawing down hamshacha from above? So he says, this greater hamshacha that takes place in mitzvahs in Mashiach's times starts with the mitzvahs that we do before Mashiach's times. The mitzvahs before Mashiach's times are a preparation for the hamshacha that mitzvahs are going to accomplish when Mashiach comes, and he gives an example similar to, or somewhat similar to what the Avos' mitzvahs, even though they were incomparable, not on the high level of the mitzvahs after Matan Torah, still in all, it was paving the way for the mitzvahs of after Matan Torah. So now he's going to explain the mitzvahs of these days that prepare for the mitzvahs that are going to be in Mashiach's times. That's going to have that greater revelation. He's going to explain is primarily the mitzvahs in the times of the Beis Hamikdash that we did before Mashiach's coming. Because the mitzvahs of the times of the Beis Hamikdash are the most like of the same quality, the same style, the bittul and so on, that is preparatory for the mitzvahs of Mashiach's times. So again, 7th page of the Maimer after the brackets on line 14. So he says, V'yesh loymar, we could say, Shagam inyan zeh, also this idea, how the mitzvahs that we do before Mashiach's times prepare us for the mitzvahs that we're going to do with a bittul when Mashiach comes, so we should be able to have the ultimate gilui, which comes through fulfilling mitzvahs with bittul. So this idea is is primarily through the mitzvahs that we did in the times of the Batei Mikdashos, in the times of first and second Beis Hamikdash. Because during the time of the Beis Hamikdash, both the person and the world were in a higher level than the time of Golus. Therefore, in the fulfillment of mitzvahs in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, the person that fulfilled the mitzvah, and so too the physical item with which the mitzvah was performed. It's brought down in Chassidus. It's not just we have a greater bittul, and therefore the mitzvahs are on a higher level, but also the actual object of the mitzvah is from a purer world than it is in the times of Golus. So therefore, the performance of the mitzvah, both as far as the person performing the mitzvah and the object that is used in the performance of mitzvahs, were in a higher level. So therefore, Hoisa shleimus, the mitzvahs were performed in a perfect manner. Bedugmas hashleimus the kiyam mitzvah shia loss of love is similar to the perfection of fulfillment of mitzvahs that's going to be when Mashiach comes. Therefore, because the mitzvahs of the times of the Beis Hamikdash bears a certain similarity to the types of mitzvahs that are going to be done when Mashiach comes, that's why V'lechein line 21 Zeh mitzvahs the achshavim hachonol mitzvahs the la'asid lavi ubi ikir b'mitzvahs shebezman abai is. Therefore, the mitzvahs at present are a preparation for the mitzvahs of Mashiach's times. That is primarily which mitzvahs at present are, meaning before Mashiach's times, the preparation for Mashiach's times mitzvahs, the mitzvahs that we did in the times of the Beis Hamikdash. Now the Rebbe is going to add in the brackets a very interesting thing. Because the mitzvahs in the time of Golus are missing something, they don't have the full force of the mitzvahs like a mitzvahs that we did in the times of the Beis Hamikdash. Therefore, we need so much more to the mitzvah to be able to accomplish what it has to accomplish. He says in line 23, by the brackets, bottom of the page, Yeshleimer, we could say, Shazel Gamma time Malzeh. This is also amongst the reasons. Shebezman HaGolus nitvasvu kama v'kama inyanim b'mitzvahs hidurim and hagim v'cholu. Why is it in the darkness of Golus was added so many components to the mitzvahs, different hidurim of the mitzvahs, different customs concerning the mitzvahs? Why? It seems to be counterintuitive. If the time of Golus is dark, if the time of Golus there's no revelation of light, why are all these things that have increased in mitzvahs? V'gam b'Torah, and also Torah has increased. V'loi rak inyanim pratim, not only specific matters of Torah increased, elagam inyanim klolim, but also general ideas of Torah was increased. Like he says in the top of the next page in the brackets, the Mishnah Nizdarai de Rabbeinu HaKadosh was Managolos. First of all, the Mishnayos was arranged and collected by Rabbeinu Yehuda HaNasi during the time of exile. True, the initial teachings of the Mishnayos were there all the time, but who arranged it, who put it together, and so on, that was in the time of Golus. The only thing is that El Sha'az Loi Hoya Koishi HaGolus. It's brought down that during the time of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi, it was not such a difficult Golus, as we know. Antoninus, the king of Rome, had a very strong relationship, and to a certain degree, even a relationship where he respected and he was like subservient to Rabbi Yehuda HaKadosh. How much more so how much more so the Braisa and the Gemaras that were arranged in the times of the Golus. Why did that happen? Because all of these things add to the power of the mitzvahs that we are missing at present. Line 5, so that the increase in the Torah that we are gaining in the time of Golus, and the increase in mitzvahs that we are gaining in the time of Golus, is to add perfection and completion that the mitzvahs, like on their own, are missing in the time of Golus. And through increasing the level of the mitzvahs themselves in the time of Golus, they can also contribute. It's not limited just to the mitzvahs in the times of the Beis Hamikdash that they contribute to the fulfillment of the mitzvahs of Mashiach's times, but by adding to the mitzvahs now, to elaborating on the mitzvahs in Torah now, is gamai de avodah shebezman hagolus yavoil shleimus hamitzvahs the Torah mitzvahs lost loving. Now it will also act as a contributor to the perfection of the mitzvahs in the times of Mashiach's times, because of the way we are performing now mitzvahs with so many more hidurim and so many more menhagim than we had in the times of the Bati Mikdashes. It's also similar to davening as well, to a certain degree. In the earlier times, there was only Kriya Shema, and there was Shemoneh Esrei. As the goals got darker, we had so many things. There's Birchas Klishma, there's the Nusach that are set in Shemoneh Esrei instead of just general Bakoshes, and there's the more added to davening, Psukim de Zimra, the parts after Shemoneh Esrei. Why? Because in the times of the darkness of Golus, we need more to make the davening a davening. And by doing so, just like making the Torah more, the mitzvahs more, perhaps in a similar vein, it's part of those mitzvahs that are contributing to making the mitzvahs of Mashiach's times be in a more perfect manner. Okay, Oishei, line 9. So the Rebbe is now going to point out a very subtle difference between the two things, how mitzvahs help for Mashiach's times. Now, we said that our actions and service at present is something that helps, present in general, helps what's going to be when Mashiach comes. Mitzvahs has a Gilui Oir that brings about the Gilui Oir that's going to be when Mashiach comes. Mitzvahs also have another component, the transformation of darkness. That contributes to what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. The Rebbe is going to explain that another difference that results from these two contributions of the mitzvahs at present or before Mashiach's times to when Mashiach comes is in what or in which type of channel this is expressed. Let's see it inside. I say, the difference between these two above things in the fulfillment of mitzvahs. One thing is that there's one component is the Gilui Oir, the light that's higher than say the Vishtalshlus that the mitzvahs draw down. And the second component of mitzvahs, the refinement of the world, the animal soul and the body that occurs through mitzvahs, the transformation of darkness. This difference also has to do and connects with a difference in our avoida now the way it impacts what's going to be when Mashiach comes. So he explains what he means. Line 13. The inyan amshacha shaydei mitzvahs concerning the amshacha that comes about through mitzvahs. Kiven shashleimus the amshacha hi shamshacha tia begilui. Since the ultimate idea of drawing down divine light is that the light should be revealed. Haregam inyana shal avoida v'amshacha achshav hu sheyiyeh la'asid lave'agilu shalom. The goal, the purpose, the aim over here is that when Mashiach comes, there should be the identical thing that we're doing now. We are drawing down oil. Mashiach's times we're drawing down oil. But the climax of that is that we draw down the oil in such a way that's revealed. Let's look at the refinement of the mitzvahs. The refinement of the mitzvahs now is not to bring about refinement of mitzvahs later. Let's see in line 17. Mitzvahs concerning the refinement that mitzvahs affect. Since the idea of that avoida, of refining and transformation, is about refining darkness. What does that mean? In this avoida, it is something that is felt that there is a darkness that one needs to refine. One needs to deal with a certain darkness over here. If so, that whole recognition, that whole type of state is not even shaykh when Mashiach comes. The avoida now refining the darkness, and the revelation of Mashiach's times that's going to be through the avoida. What is it? What's it accomplishing? Emphasis on the word avir. The spirit of Tumah I will remove from the earth. The There are two distinct things. Even more so, they're two opposites. We are working now with the darkness, and because we're working with the darkness, what will happen when Mashiach comes? The removal and the disappearance of the darkness. Whereas in the first idea, we are working now in drawing down light. And the conclusion of that, the ultimate state of that drawing down the light, is when that light is drawn down in a revealed state. Okay, now we have to set our mind into a very detailed, oriented way and bring this back to what we spoke about initially at the beginning of the Maimer. Let's remember, at the beginning of the Maimer, we brought a Maimer of the Tzemach Tzedek. The Maimer of the Tzemach Tzedek brought two explanations in the word, or in the phrase Yashresh Yaakov, and one explanation in Haboim. And he said Haboim means, not like the Alter Rebbe says, but Haboim means gathering, that Hashem will gather you to Mashiach's times. That was the explanation of Haboim. And over there, this is taken from the Yonasan ben Uzziel, and then it says Yashresh Yaakov, then it will be revealed when Mashiach comes, will be the revelation of the root of Yaakov in this world. The Shayrish of Yaakov, which is the level that they're drawing down through mitzvahs, will become revealed when Mashiach comes. That's what we said at the beginning of the Maimer, the first Pirush in that pasuk. The second Pirush is that Yashresh Yaakov is talking about the fulfillment of mitzvahs in action. And we didn't talk anything about Mashiach's times, which means, and we asked that one of the things is out of order. First, there's fulfillment of mitzvahs in action now, that brings to the Aboim Yashresh later on. That brings to the coming in the time of the L'Asad Lavai, and then it's going to be the revelation of the Shayrish of Yaakov. Why, we asked, is it flipped? Why does he start with the Geula and then he goes to the cause? And also, why does he leave out the explanation of the word Haboim in the second Pirush over here in this pasuk? Based on what we learned now, he's going to explain this. Let's see in line 23. Pisa Yuvan. According to this, will be understood. First of all, Bachlal, why doesn't he even bring down the idea that Boim, like the Alter Rebbe explains, and that's even the simple pshat in the pasuk, Aboim Yashresh Yaakov, is referring to those that come into Golus, that are rooted in the Torah mitzvahs and Golus and action in the physical world. He doesn't go into that explanation at all. He doesn't explain Haboim going on to Golus. And also, in other words, he doesn't explain Haboim on the second explanation of Yashresh Yaakov. He only explains Haboim on the first explanation of Yashresh Yaakov that's talking about Mashiach's times. And also, and also the order of two explanations in the Maimer, that first he talks about the Geula, what will happen, the revelation of the Shayrish of Yaakov, and then he speaks about the cause, which is the Yidden's doing Torah mitzvahs in action. So he says on line 26, from the very fact that in the second explanation of the Tzemach Tzedek, that the fulfillment of mitzvahs now is called rooting. What is the point, or what's the idea of taking root? What's the purpose? What's the goal? What's the inner concept of something taking root or being planted? It has only one purpose. Its purpose is growth. Muchach. So that itself shows and proves the idea of fulfilling mitzvahs. That's in this pasuk of Yashresh Yaakov. In the second meaning, we're not talking about the other idea of mitzvahs, the idea of transforming the darkness of Golus. But we're talking about the goal of the rooting, which is the Hamshacha. V'loy habirur shenasa yod, the top of page Yud Gimel, not the refinement that occurs through the fulfillment of mitzvahs. Therefore, that's why in the second explanation, where he says Yashrish Ya'akov is talking about the fulfillment of mitzvahs in the time of Golus, he doesn't say that Habayim is talking about coming, or the fulfillment of mitzvahs in this world. He doesn't bring that's talking about Habayim, those that are coming into Golus. Why? Because Golus is not the main thing that leads to the event of the tzmich over here. The special, unique quality of doing Torah mitzvahs in Golus, or mitzvahs in the time of Golus, like we said before, is not about the Gilui Or. The revelation of light is primarily Mashiach's time, is primarily the base of Mikdash's times. Rather, if we're talking about Golus, we're talking about the refining of darkness to light. Here we're not talking about the refinement and transforming of the darkness to light. The Yashrish Ya'akov, we're talking here about taking root for growth, meaning for revelation purposes. Revelation purposes doesn't have to do with the idea of Golus. As opposed to that which is drawn down through the mitzvah, is more to be found in the avoid in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, like we said before, in Siv Gimel and Siv Dalet. And now, based on this, we'll also explain why the order is this way as well. That first he talks about Abbayim Yashrish Ya'akov, they will come to Eretz Yisrael and their root above will become revealed. And then he talks about the fulfillment of mitzvahs before that time. So he says in line 6, V'zeh gam ma shapirish Yashrish Ya'akov koyal kila mitzvahs achshav bo la'achrei ubehemshech la'pirish Yashrish Ya'akov koyal gilu shorish neshama she'yilasid. Why does the explanation that the taking root of Yaakov is referring to fulfillment of mitzvahs now come following and as a continuation to the explanation that Yaakov's root is referring to the revelation of the root of the neshama that's going to be when Mashiach comes, when it should be the other way around? First you have the mitzvahs now, and then you have the root of the neshama be revealed when Mashiach comes. It is the very same thing. What we're drawing down through fulfillment of mitzvahs and the drawing down of the Shorish and Neshama, it's all identical. That's what we said, that when we're talking about the idea that mitzvahs are supposed to bring down a gilui, or supposed to draw down a higher light, and the gilui of lost love are really in the same thing. In Yonesh, Amshacha, Shvitiya, lost love, Begil, Yisilidun, the whole idea of this Amshacha that should be when Mashiach comes, the revelation, the revealed way, they should be born. If it would be the idea of through transforming the darkness you're bringing to Mashiach's time, since transforming the darkness is supposed to result in the removal of the darkness, so they're not identical. So then it would have to be said in the order. First you remove the darkness, and then you have the revelation that comes afterwards. But here, that it's identical, it's really inside of it. So the core of the mitzvahs that we're doing now is the revelation of the neshama that's going to be when Mashiach comes. And that's why he says right away, Habayim Yashrish Ya'akov, when Mashiach comes, the neshama's Shorish above is going to become revealed. That is the Torah mitzvahs of the second Pirush, the Yashrish Ya'akov that we're talking about right now.